Hey everyone, welcome back. Dr. Drew Ramsey here. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos. And this one's really important, especially if you're feeling a little down or a little anxious and you're looking for some of the top foods to help you improve your brain health and your mental health. I wanted to go over a few of the foods that I just find myself always talking about with patients. If you don't know, I'm one of the leaders in nutritional psychiatry, and that's the use of food and nutrition to optimize brain health and to treat and prevent mental health disorders. Not that nutrition's the only thing you need to do for your mental health. Mental health is a lot of work, but it's got to be something you get right. If you don't get your brain nutrition right, if you're not getting the right nourishment for your mental health, it's just so much harder to feel your best. So let's talk about some of my favorite foods, because I'm talking to every patient that I see about nutrition, and these are the foods that keep coming up for me. So number one, and this is a challenging one, but it's sardines or anchovies, but I want to talk about sardines. Sardines are a small oily fish. So when people are talking about omega-3 fats and how those are good for the brain and good for mental health, I really steer my patients towards these natural sources of omega-3 fats. Sardines also give you lots of B12, a complete protein, and it's one of the top sources of calcium. So really just a very what we call nutrient-dense food. Now sardines can be tricky. There's a great recipe I have, which is gnocchi alla glenda, which is basically some tomato paste, pine nuts, garlic, and getting the sardines mashed in there a little bit. It really ends up not tasting very fishy at all. Put that over some gnocchi. It's a great meal. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is a kefir smoothie. Kefir is a fermented dairy product, and it has more bacteria, more what are called colony-forming units of bacteria than really any other fermented food I've been able to find. And that's why I put kefir in my smoothie. Increasingly, we know that mental health and gut health are really quite related. And to improve our gut health, in general, most people want to eat more fermented foods and more plants. And so this is a great way to get a really solid fermented food, a kefir smoothie. I do one with like a banana, some kefir, and cinnamon. I've got lots of recipes in my cookbooks for smoothies, like in Eat to Beat Depression and Anxiety, which has the peanut butter cup smoothie, one of my favorites. All right, next great food for your mental health that you should really have in your kitchen, and this should be the main fat you're cooking with. This is a really good quality olive oil. Now, why is that? Because at the core of eating for mental health for a lot of people is eating more plants, eating more fiber, and a lot of folks kind of struggle with how to do that. And oven roasting vegetables or sauteing vegetables in olive oil is just a really great way for you to get more of those foods. Olive oil itself is very, very healthy. It's a monounsaturated fat called oleic acid, and actually consumption of oleic acid is correlated with a decreased risk of depression over a 10-year period. So great, powerful fat, lots of good antioxidants in there, and along with some vitamin E, which is a very important vitamin for brain health. All right, next food on my list would be cashews. It's really important to start snacking on nuts. A lot of people are scared of nuts, feeling that they're really a high caloric food, but nuts, first of all, have 25% fewer calories that's on the package. The USDA issued a statement a few years ago. And also nuts are just naturally satiating because they're this really nice mix of a little bit of protein, some fat, and slow burning carbs and fiber. So cashews are great. They have more iron than most other nuts. There's a little natural sweetness to them, and I just find it's a great thing to use as a snack, use in your trail mixes, drop in your yogurt, put in your smoothies. Really useful food for you. Next would be dark chocolate. Now, dark chocolate has a reputation for boosting our mood, and it's actually based on some science, or these very powerful phytonutrients in dark chocolate that have been shown in some scientific studies at high concentrations to help with age-related memory decline. It's also to note that dark chocolate itself, and we're talking solid dark chocolate, right? So we don't want it with lots of pralines or caramel filling. We're looking for a solid dark chocolate bar, more than 70% cacao. So pretty dark chocolate. You're also getting iron, you're getting fiber, you're getting magnesium. Right? So it's, again, a nutrient-dense food. It's a great way to make sure that there's sweetness in your life and pleasure. It's a big tenet of nutritional psychiatry, is that as you're eating with a sense that you're feeding your mental health, you're nourishing yourself, and you're eating with pleasure and joyfulness. All right, next on our list, and this one might surprise you, but it's been a big part for me of feeling well and getting enough potassium, and that are oven roasted potatoes. And again, I'm using that olive oil, maybe some garlic, maybe a little bit of some seasoning like oregano or even a little curry. But oven roasting potatoes is a really nice way to eat them for a number of reasons. Potatoes have a bad rap, but they are high in starch, and if you cool them, they're high in what's called resistant starch, which really just decreases the effect on your blood sugar, as well as potatoes are a top potassium food, and potassium is one of those unheralded nutrients that I'm a really big fan of. And so potatoes, along with bananas, are a great place to get those, as well as white beans. All right, next up on our list of great foods for you to be eating for your mental health, these are some of my top 8 foods. It's gonna be sauteed greens and garlic. And the reason this is just a really easy, fast, go-to way to get lots and lots of nutrition. Greens are just packed with nutrients, folate, fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin A. It's a lot of nutrition packed into not a lot of calories. A cup of greens usually has between 10 to 30 calories. So sauteing in olive oil with some garlic is just a really great way to get more greens in your life. They also store really well in the fridge. Add them to really just about anything, and you're improving the nutrient density. And then finally, a great food for your mental health. And this is important because so often when people are struggling with their mood or struggling with anxiety, what do folks reach for? What do we reach for? The natural antidepressant that's out there and reasonably inexpensive and ubiquitous is alcohol. And alcohol is a pretty, short-term effective. It soothes anxiety right away for people. So if you have a kind of irritable or agitated depression, alcohol can help you feel a little more calm and in control. Alcohol gives a little bit of a euphoria and mood boost initially, before the night goes wrong. And so because of that, people when they're down, are seeking that, understandably. And because of that, oftentimes there's more drinking than there should be when people are struggling with their mood. Alcohol is a central nervous system depressant, so it really is a headwind if you're struggling with your mood. And that's why I swapped out alcohol and encourage people to try for a period to swap out alcohol for kombucha. Kombucha is a fermented tea, so there's lots and lots of interesting antioxidants in there. It's a fermented food, so again, we're getting lots of live bacteria into our gut. And while kombucha has a little bit of alcohol, so if you have a true alcohol use disorder, make sure to look for an alcohol-free kombucha. It's really, really low, like 0.5%, maybe 1%. There are all kinds of different flavors, and again, I find that that's a nice swap because you're feeding your gut. You've got a nice kind of tasty treat, and you're swapping out something that can be really harmful for your mood and anxiety. So those are 8 of my favorites. I hope maybe you'll list some of your favorites in the comments below. So many people over the years have told me about certain foods and food categories that just really kind of help them open up how nutrition affects their mental health and help them really make an impact on how they're feeling. And I really hope this video helps you do that. Please subscribe or make sure and share this with somebody that you care about who needs a little bit of help feeding their mental health. Please check out some of the other content on our website. A lot of these foods, sometimes people ask about cost, and so we have a great free download, Brain Food on a Budget. All right, everybody, I'm Dr. Drew Ramsey. Until next time, keep feeding your mental health. Thanks.